Hello friends, my name is Chili and welcome back to more Satisfactory. We've been doing a little bit of work behind the scenes, or maybe in front of the scenes if you've been on the stream, streamlining everything and preparing for Phase 4, Phase 5, and building a few more things. Today we are going to be running a little bit of nitrogen back to the base. It's over there somewhere. And then over off in the desert, we are going to be building a nuclear power plant. That is right. We're going to be building a big old boy nuclear power plant because it seems like it's a pretty good location for that kind of stuff. So, oh, thank you, Elevator. Nice music. I've taken the time to ensure that I have it's pretty much everything I would need for Phase 4. The only thing I can't do right now is make all these things because I don't have nitrogen gas. So that's the plan. Get the nitrogen gas, get everything together, and then we should have everything except turbo motors, which I will make and put probably over here somewhere. I don't know yet. So first things first, we are going to get ourselves some nitrogen gas. I found a place to do it, and it's over by where our copper is. So that is the first destination. Oh, I should probably swap these out, shouldn't I? Might be a good idea. We also took the time to get ourselves some turbo rifle ammo, and not surprisingly, a lot of the critters out here have been a lot less of a pain in the butt since we did that. All right, our copper's right here. The nitrogen is directly in front of us. Our uranium is in that cave. Man, we got everything. This might be, I don't know how you guys feel, but this seems to be the best location in the game, as long as you can deal with the creatures. All right, anybody want to mess? Anybody want some trouble? What's up, buddy? Oh, you want to play? Well, I got something for you. Ooh, we go faster and faster. Done. All right. I'm a little too excited about that one. Okay. Our nitrogen is clear. We need a pressurizer to start with. Oh, problem. Got to put it on the grid. Yeah, we got the pressurizer, and that's cool. But before we can do anything with it, we need power, and then we need to put resource extractors somewhere. Ah, okay. Activated fracking satellite node. Fracking? Oh no! Okay, so each one of these pulls 120. So if I can move a maximum of 600, 600 divided by 120. I need 5 of these. So let's get 5 of these connected up, and I think we'll be good to go from there. Okay. Resource well, done. Nitrogen is flowing. Let's get back to base, get it hooked up so we can produce stuff while we make our nuke plant. Okay, nitrogen is hooked up. We should start seeing our very first things shortly. I figured out a much easier way to do motors by doing the stators with pure iron, which I didn't know I could do that. But yeah, doing the stators with steel pipe, much, much, much easier. So that alternate, all those alternates from all the hard drives we found, really, really helpful. Okay. Here you see laid out before us a beautiful but very empty desert. Now, very soon this will be the site of our glorious nuclear plant. But first, we need to get uranium from somewhere over there out into here, and we need to figure out exactly where we're going to build and how. I mean, part of me wants to just build it like kind of up in the sky, you know, just away from the ground where all these little things are. Should make it really easy to manage, and it should give us lots and lots of room to build. So maybe we build up here and we go straight out. And then everything we need, we push it up and put it where it needs to go. Let's get our uranium going first. We're going to have it come down the waterfall. Starting off with a pretty small platform. We'll have to expand that. Let's make our way up. Now that we have like filters galore, we're immune to pretty much all hazards. Yeah, poison away, buddy. Ain't going to bother me. We've already tapped this one. But now we've unlocked Mark IIIs, so we can definitely get everything we can out of this boy. Okay, now because this is an impure, even with a Mark III, we're not going to get a ton out of it. So we can jack this thing up to get 300, and that's going to have to be good enough to start with. Okay. That took a little bit of effort, but once I turn that on, we're going to have this nice little conveyor system pulling down uranium from all the way back there. That's just the first one of many. We're going to farm our uranium out to be able to do some drones to go pick up the other uranium around the world. But first, we need to get at least one setup producing the fuel rods so that we can fuel the drones. So in order to do this properly, I'm going to need coal, copper, caterium, iron, limestone, water, sulfur, and then finally our uranium. So I have to go tap a whole bunch of things, and then I have to run them all back to here. So let's get that started. Caterium, check. All right, iron, secured. Copper, secured. Limestone, sulfur, coal, and we actually got 2 pures over here, but we only need the 1. Quartz, but I think both of these are normal, so we're going to use 2 here, and then we'll just combine them. All right, it took a little bit of time to run all the belts and everything we needed. I used my stacked towers that I've been doing. We found a pure caterium node up there, and got everything all the way back here to now. We have this lovely little setup right here. What I'm going to do is these first 3 are going to go into a very large smelting array, which is to turn everything into ingots. I'm going to use the ingots to then go into a very large constructor array, to go into a very large assembler array, to go into a manufacturer array, and I think there's a blender in there somewhere. So let me start building all the smelters. Okay, so we have all of our caterium, so we're going to run lines for that, make sure that these are all set up properly. That takes care of all the caterium we're ever going to need for this. Okay, everything's hooked up. Everything is producing at maximum possible ability. Everything is power sharded out to the max. Everything is balanced. Next, we need to pipe this into a big, huge constructor array for each various component we're going to need here. So I'm using the Satisfactory calculator website to kind of plan this out. Extremely helpful if you're not aware of that. Iron's a little bit trickier because we're producing 4 different things from it. We're producing rods, screws, plates, wire, and pipe. That's just kind of what I went with. So we're producing 5 different things from that. And that's to try to lower power needed and lower complexity. So with all this iron, we need to figure out how we're going to divide that across all of those. I kind of expect to have to alter this one a little bit over time, so I think I'll just do 2 of each and start with that. All right, and then just like we did with the pipes over in our oil thing, we are just going to push these through to the next higher tier, and then if we do have to expand, we can just pipe them into wherever they need to go. Shouldn't be too difficult. For the copper, I know that there's another thing coming up shortly where I have to make copper powder. I don't know exactly what it's for, but I know it's part of the thing we have to do. So I'll leave some space open for that, and then just set up the first few ones for copper sheet. All right, it took a little bit of doing, but I've got quartz producing quartz crystals. I've got I got limestone producing concrete, and then I wired these around here, and now we are ready for the next stage, which is the assembler stage. So we're going to need 5 different sets of assemblers. I also need to set up a refinery over here somewhere to make sulfuric acid. So I need to pull water, make sulfuric acid, and set up a bunch of assemblers. So let's do that next. Add a little bit of extra space over here. So the sulfuric acid is being taken care of now. I'm starting off with 4 because I don't know how much I need. I've never worked with this material before. So we'll just start there and let that roll. Okay, so all of our encased uranium cells are going to be made in this row right here. All the other stuff for the assembly is going to be made all back there. So that means that the nuclear power plants are going to be around this area once we fill that all in. So let's populate this with everything it needs. And I think we can make a few of these. Yeah, we're doing 10 per minute. We can do quite a few of these. Let's start small, and then we can always scale up, which means it's time to connect up our uranium to the rest of everything else. So I guess we'll run that somewhere over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll run that somewhere over here, and like I said, start with that. All right, we got our fuel cells down, so now we just need to convert these into fuel rods. So we did the hard part. This is the hard part. That's done. Now we just need to do the easy stuff, get everything else together to finish making this. Also, side note, I guess I should have thought about this, and it's a good thing I made the iodine setup. But the air sure is spicy around here. I'm guessing because I'm producing the stuff over there and the random uranium hanging out, it's just going to stay like that or keep getting worse. But good to know, I guess. All right, it took a while, mostly because I had to wait for hard drives, but let's go. Uranium fuel rod, get made. And then while that's cooking, I unlocked nuke nobelisks, and I believe they use this stuff. Let me double check that. Yes, they do. So I need to take some of these, and I need to get them back to my base, since I don't want to produce this crap back at home. And wouldn't you know it, there's a really, really good way to transport stuff very long distances. So what if we build one of these boys, and then we get power from that and make it happen. Captain? Okay, drone is in place. Well, drone port is in place. And then we'll get him fuel from this thing right here, which honestly makes a good amount of sense. Makes good sense. I'm just going to split off from the first one. I don't think it's going to really use all that many fuel rods. If I read somewhere correctly that a single fuel rod for these drones can power them for like 100 hours or something ridiculous like that. So there's that one. So that's where it's going to get that. And then we'll split off from here so that we can load it up. Look at that. We are producing waste. We are producing power. These things last quite a while. That's kind of cool. We are piping in water from downstairs. These things use an absurd amount of water. So that's actually going to be the biggest challenge. And I'm wondering if once I can get my drone set up properly, if maybe I want to transport these fuel rods a little bit too. I'm storing the uranium waste mostly because I feel like it's going to be useful at some point in the future. I think you need it to make plutonium stuff. So we'll take a pause on that because we haven't unlocked particle enrichment yet. But I need to make sure that this boy has his fuel, and yes, he does. Perfection. So I went ahead and expanded from 2 up to 4, running a whole bunch of water. Let me show you how I ran that. It's kind of funny. The water gets pulled in from over there and runs straight all the way up into the nuclear power plants. I got one more because we're going to go unlock particle enrichment, and we're going to see if we can also get plutonium going at the same time. I'm going to head back to the base to unlock particle enrichment and also set this up so we can have some nuke nobelisks. Okay, so nuke nobelisks. We need 4 components, one of which will have to be delivered by the drone. So that's okay. That's kind of what we're expecting at this point. Things are starting to get a little trickier. So smokeless powder, nobelisk, AI limiter, no problem. All right, we've assembled all the other things. So AI limiters, nobelisks, smokeless powder, those are all going into here, which, let me set that up properly. The only thing we need to do is get the encased uranium cells, which we're going to drone over here. So let's get our drone port set up. And then since this drone port is only going to be accepting drones coming in, we don't have to worry about where it's going. Oh, look at it go. Woo! That's fast. Oh my God. I'm actually really impressed with how fast that is. Okay. I guess we'll be seeing that boy in a second here. Oh, and there he is. Look at that. That is so freaking cool. So he should just drop off just a ton of the encased stuff because that's what I've been having him pick up. Let's go. We don't need to run any more lines anywhere. Let's go, baby. Yes, sir. Go on back home, drone. Well done, sir. Okay. What can we do with particle enrichment? Nitric acid, non-fissile uranium.
can be created in
plutonium,
the accelerator.
and the
The
pasta.
accelerator has
All right, so that being said, we are going to want to set up the pressure conversion cubes and a couple other things because I think we're going to need them as part of the plutonium production process. But I know for a fact we need them for the pasta. So pressure conversion cubes, copper powder. Yeah, we have a couple other things we're going to have to make here. So let's keep going. Okay, I rerouted some stuff I wasn't really using. So, yeah, pressure conversion cubes. That was easy. I'll stick copper powder somewhere around here. I mean, it's literally just copper ingots. Okay, copper powder done. I think after we let everything run, we might be able to just finish the phase, finish the game even pretty soon. But I don't want to be done here. Yeah, look at all that. I don't want to be done with this game without having done all the fun challenges. AKA, I want nukes. I want nuclear power. I want all the fun stuff. Oh, boy. Okay. We got to go find something to try this out on. All right, so nukes are supposed to be pretty dangerous. Let's just see what happens if we use it on these trees. How big of an explosion could it really be? Oh my God. There's nothing left. Well, I think you guys know what I have to do with this. Sorry, Mr. Space Cow Penguin, whatever the heck you are. This is for science. It's for science.
that one had a family.
Okay, we got our first particle accelerator. And first thing we need to figure out is plutonium, which means we need non-fissile uranium. Got to figure out how to make that, and uranium waste. We already have the waste, so where do we make the non-fissile uranium? That's made in the blender, so we're going to need a blender to play around with the waste. We need quite a lot of waste. That's a good problem. And then we're going to need some silica, which we already have our quartz coming in. We did make sure to leave space so that we could convert some of it to quartz crystal and the other to silica. So we're good. What else do we need here? Nitric acid and sulfuric acid. We don't have nitrogen being piped in, but I believe it's over there somewhere. Yep, we totally do. And it's got pure nodes. It's got everything we need. Let's go get some nitrogen. Make it, just toss it on top of the stack, I guess. Okay, our nitrogen setup number 2 is done. We have a full 600 running through. Good to go there. Let's run it back to the base and start turning it into nitric acid. All right, so all of our blenders are set up for nitric acid. I routed some iron plates because that's needed. We've got water and we've got nitrogen, so let me finish hooking that up, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, non-fissile uranium, we got that. And let's move on to the next part, which is the plutonium. Oddly enough, the thing I'm short on is uranium waste. That's hilarious. All right, well, I put some in, and this is pretty darn cool. So that's going to produce plutonium pellets, which we are going to pipe back alongside these things. So we're good to go there. Good Lord, that's cool. Man, it sure is pretty over here at night. Look at all the little lights everywhere and everything. Gosh, you get the nice glow from the uranium. So nice. All right, so next step is we need the fun stuff, aka the encased plutonium. These are a little easier, just the plutonium we already made in concrete, which it's over there somewhere. I think I already cut a line for it right here. Yeah, it's right there. All right, that's the plutonium pellets. The last step is going to be these two over here, which are going to turn the plutonium pellets into plutonium fuel rods. So electromagnetic control rods, heat sinks, steel beams. So we need heat sinks and steel beams because we already have the control rods. All right. The only thing that's going to be a little tricky is the heat sinks because it needs aluminum. However, we already have drones. What's to say that we don't have drones going to go pick that up too? All right, drone station setup. I had to do a few upgrades, just a few, in order to balance this properly so I would be producing enough of the alclad stuff. So let me head back over, and then I can start picking this up and transporting it over to where we need it. All right, little drone friend. You gonna drop off some alclad aluminum sheets for me? Yeah, buddy. What is so radioactive? Is that you? Is that you? That is you. My little radioactive friend. I want to actually watch him, like, unload all the stuff. Oh, there it goes. Hey! Okay, heat sinks. That's done. One more thing and we're good to go. Last thing we need is steel beams. That's a... Alright. Last step is done. There go the heat sinks. Let's follow them over here. We got the steel beams from our steel beam thingy right there. And shabuya, baby. So, we did it. We are now producing plutonium fuel rods. I think just for the sake of sustainability, until I get a little bit further, I'm just going to sink them for now. We already have quite a bit of extra power just from our regular nuke plants, and so we're nowhere near being capped out on what we need to do. Let's go ahead and finish phase 4 while we're at it. All right, so for this last phase, we're going to build up one more level, and we're going to finally close off everything underneath us. It's kind of beautiful in a way, you know? Like, we did all this work together, and now it's finally time to get ready to say bye. My saddest part of every game when I play it, but what can you do? That's part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill up all these boxes and let this phase complete itself. So bittersweet to finish a game. I know I have one more after this. I know. But still, the next one isn't too much more difficult, and we've already got pretty much everything in the game done. Let's complete phase 4 together. Anyway, while I was waiting for phase 4, I did a little bit of work on the outside of the factory to kind of complete the design that I had been working on. I upgraded a bunch of the belts so that things would be ready for phase 5, the last one. These nukes are super duper fun. Having nuclear power also means that we're going to be able to have a pretty easy time going into the last phase. At least I'm predicting we will. But we are all done. We completed everything over here. Ignore the super loud noise from over there. I'm still leaving these up here to produce a little bit more because I know we're going to need them for the next phase. In particular, I know that the nuclear pasta, we need a ton of that stuff, so I'm just kind of saving it over here for now. But here we go. We're going to do it together. Phase 4. All done. Pretty happy with this one. Because we've done, like, basically everything there is to do other than the, whatever's in phase 5. Tier 9? Tier 9, that's what I meant. Hi, Ada.
Welcome to the Pioneers Got Power Problems presentation. That was a joke.
That was not funny.
Familiar with the process. Just throw the lever and the automated systems will take over.
Yes, ma'am.
Imagine all the time and effort that would be wasted if you had to do all that work as well. Some work is just better suited for machines.
Okay, complicated thing. Don't ask. You wouldn't get it. Don't bother.
So just trust in me and FICSIT policy and everything will go as planned.
I'm so down.
All your questions will take time. We simply do not.
Yeah, there's the pasta again.
Everything is going to be just
Okay.
fine, so long as you do your job.
It's all gonna be okay.
After all, haven't we? Anyway,
We have.
You know what to do.
I can't wait to see what it looks like. Oh, got an achievement. What are we gonna add on there? Food court?
Phase 4.
Gorgeous.
Project assembly completed. If style was measured in my
Perfect,
performance
perfect,
reports,
perfect.
yours would be something special. Regardless, saving the day is within our grasp. Do not lose focus now.
It's almost
You must
time.
understand the weight on your shoulders, but you are not alone. I am here, and I know exactly what's at stake. This goes beyond Earth. Your actions will affect the universe at large. You might think I am exaggerating. Perhaps you will understand once you finish project assembly. Phase 5 awaits. I expect your best work.
Phase 5, boys. But that's going to have to wait for next time, which I predict will be the final chapter of this little story. Thank you so much for joining me on this one. I hope you've enjoyed so far, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.